guys. Say hi. Not me. Say hi to them. Say hello. Stop moving. The autofocus is getting all messed up. Say hello. Hi, everybody. Okay. All right. Lie down. All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming back to my channel. Today's video, I'm hoping I'm going to make this quick, but there's a lot of talking. So if you don't want to hear me talk or possibly see lipstick on my teeth, then you might just want to exit the video now. Today I'm going to be talking about, where I've been the past like 8 months now. I've been gone from YouTube, or not consistent on YouTube, for longer than that, but the past 8 months significantly more so, just because there's been a lot going on within my personal life. Again, I'm going to try and get through this quickly, but there will be a lot of talking, so I apologize in advance. So where do I begin? I recently split up with the father of my children in the last few months, but prior to that, about last summer, we kind of had the same thing happen, and we had split up. And so since then, since last summer, there's just been a lot going on within my personal life, my immediate family life, and that obviously had a lot to do with it. But on top of that, because I'm not going anywhere in detail with that stuff, but on top of that, in November of last year, sorry, this shirt's really annoying. In November of last year, my father had been going through a lot of pain, back pain specifically. We ended up figuring out what the reason was. However, he had been suffering from this back pain for a long time, just never really looked into it. He is old school Portuguese, European man, hard worker, physically demanding job. And so to him, he felt back pain, and it was most likely because of his job, and so he just pushed through it until November of last year, where he was in excruciating pain to the point where he asked for help, and that's not something my father does. Long story short, there were a few emergency room visits, which led to some family doctor visits that led to specialists, and a lot of the appointments we had been attending, a lot of what each doctor was saying all led to the term multiple myeloma. For anyone who's unfamiliar with what multiple myeloma is, it is a blood cancer found in the bone marrow blood. It's a cancer that affects the plasma cells. I'm not going to get into too much detail about multiple myeloma in itself, because this isn't an informative video regarding multiple myeloma. I would love to maybe get into it a little bit more on another video, but right now I just want to talk about how multiple myeloma has affected my life, and it goes hand in hand with where I've been and how I haven't really been consistent with filming and uploading and all of those things. So through specialists and further testing, a series of testing, including a biopsy, we had been waiting for the results. This was now December by this point, and leading up to Christmas, we were waiting for the results of all the testing to finalize, because although everyone had been saying multiple myeloma, there was no guaranteeing what it was until the biopsy results had come back. So as I mentioned, my dad was suffering in a lot of pain. Oral pain medication was not helping, and so when he went for his biopsy, the doctor who did the biopsy on him had said, if you're still in this much pain within the next few days, please don't push through it. Come back to the hospital, go to the ER, and get yourself admitted for pain management. And so I really don't want to get emotional at all in this video, so I'm going to try and take my time here. On December 25th, which is Christmas morning, my father, which we had just seen the evening before, we had all spent Christmas Eve together, and he was uncomfortable, was in pain, but he had a good time. We all had a great time. He called me at 6 o'clock on Christmas morning in tears, begging me to take him to the hospital. And at that time, I was still living with the father of my children. We lived out about an hour outside the city, so I didn't think twice. I knew everything that had been going on. There was no questioning it. I got up, I got dressed, and I left. Like, I didn't even think about the fact that it's Christmas Day. And I mean, in the grand scheme of things, what's Christmas in comparison to somebody's health? But my children woke up that morning and I was there to share that moment with them. And going forward, that was the beginning of a lot. That was the beginning of a lot of times my children had to go without me being there when they wanted me to be there. And from there, it's kind of been a roller coaster. He from there spent almost a month in the hospital for pain management, and during that time he did get his final diagnosis of multiple myeloma. And since then it has been, like I said, just a roller coaster of emotion and just a lot going on. Initially, the diagnosis of multiple myeloma really hit home with us because I don't know how in-depth I've gone on my channel looking back. I haven't looked back on my channel in some time, so I know that I have mentioned that I have lost my mother. The significance of both situations are that my mom also was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, and so when we heard that being his diagnosis, it really kind of just shook our ground. Like, we were just at a loss for words because here we go again, you know. And my father instantly went into a terrified state. He thought, oh, I have what she had, that means I'm dying, right? That means I'm gonna die, like, in the next 5 months. My mom had passed away within 5 months of her diagnosis due to complications, not a direct cause of her cancer. However, there were things that were unclear, and just a lot had happened with her treatment and leading up to her treatment, and so she didn't make it. And that put me at the forefront. Like, there was absolutely no way I was going to let the same thing happen to my father by not being his voice, for one, but also by not being there. And paying very close attention and doing much more research than I did with my mother. With my mom, I was there for, I would say, 95% of everything. My mom was well-spoken in English and very comprehensive, and she could manage her appointments herself. However, it's always a good idea to have a second set of ears to help make sure you're on the right track with all your medications and all your appointments and everything. You know, it's just one of those things. I lost my mom, so of course I'm gonna sit there and if I did this and if I had done that, or if we had done this and if we had done that. But that's far gone now, and all I can do now is be there for my father and try my best to avoid any sort of the same situations. So him hearing he has multiple myeloma put him in he still is, he's in a la land state. He needs somebody with him all the time for every appointment. He can also speak English, but he gets in a room with the doctor and he just can't absorb a single thing. Like, his mind can't absorb what's actually happening to him. So I've been there every step of the way. As of April, I did move closer to my father. During the split, that caused me to move, so I have moved closer to my father, so it's easier for me to be there. However, I still have a full-time job, 2 kids, and his care, which has been exhausting to say the least. For my father, his course of treatment had been some radiation. He did about 10 treatments worth of radiation, and then 16 treatments of chemo. He would go weekly, and then also all of his appointments in between. And there's been other speed bumps in the road. He's been a smoker for many, many years. During this time, he was diagnosed with emphysema as well, or early stages of emphysema. And it's just been a lot. I'm not going to get into every emergency room visit and every hiccup, but for those of you who may be experiencing the same thing or something similar when it comes to caring for a family member who is ill, it's your journey, it's your struggle, it's your stressor, it's your everything, pretty much. So I just wanted to kind of speak my side on multiple myeloma and how it's affected my life and continues to do so. My father is now into his second phase of treatment, which is a stem cell transplant. Like I had mentioned, I don't want to go into detail of multiple myeloma in itself. However, I may do a video on multiple myeloma and kind of go in more depth to what kind of a cancer it is, and a little bit more about the treatment that's involved and the options, and then the options that we decided for my father would be the best bet. And we're in the middle, or we're just starting out the stem cell transplant phase, so I can't say much about it other than he's terrified. He's really scared. He doesn't know what to expect, and neither do we. My mom never got to this point, so it's all new for all of us. And I don't know if anyone who out there would maybe want me to vlog. Like, I'm kind of touchy on the subject of vlogging. That's why my vlogs are kind of just what you have been seeing me in the car with the girls kind of thing. Like, if I were to vlog my daily life, it would probably be really sad to watch. So why would I want to put sadness out there into the world? Because all it is just doctor's visits, and it's not fun to watch. However, if somebody out there who's kind of maybe experiencing this themselves and might benefit or might take something away from watching a vlog and kind of watch what's about to happen in terms of like his stem cell transplant, what to expect, maybe follow his progress, see how it affects him. That's me. Like, I'm that person. Like, when something's happening to me in my life, I like to research everything I can, personal experiences. I want to know what happened to you when you went through this, or what happened to that person when they went through this. Because, for example, like when I was pregnant, I needed to know everyone's terrible story. There's some people who don't want to hear the bad things that can happen. However, me, I want to hear all the bad things that can happen, because I want to know when something's happening, I want to already know what it is. Anyway, so if that's something that anyone out there is interested in, maybe I'll do like a short diary type of thing where I follow his progress going into his transplant. And yeah, that's where I've been. That's what I've been dealing with. The next month is going to be a complete write-off with this transplant, and so don't expect to see me uploading regularly anytime soon. And with that being said, I'm so thankful and happy and grateful that I do have as many followers as I do, and that you guys still continue to watch my videos, even though there's no consistency at this point in time. But you guys still reach out, you guys comment, you guys like, you guys private message me, and I really do appreciate it. I love it. I want to get back into it on a regular basis. However, real life, not what's in front of the camera. What happens behind the camera is what's priority to me and my family. So, again, I do apologize. However, I do, from the bottom of my heart, really, really thank you guys. All 6,706 of you. That's unreal to me. I don't even want to put much more thought into that, because that's just mind-blowing to myself. So, yes, I do have one favor to ask you all who have stayed tuned to this point in time in my video. For anyone who's still watching and interested, of course, there's no obligation, because I I'm not forcing you to do anything. However, I am going to be walking in honor of my mother, who has passed now and had been affected by multiple myeloma, and now my father having been going through the same thing. I'm going to walk in an effort to raise money for cancer research, specifically multiple myeloma, for myself and my family on June 18th of this year. As I mentioned, I've been so busy, but I've been wanting to get this video and mention that I will be walking and wanting to raise money for a long time now. However, this thing's like weeks away, so I was like, I better get this video out there and better start raising some money, otherwise I'm just going to be walking by myself. I haven't even built a team yet. I'm like the worst fundraiser ever, but we'll get there. I'm gonna get everything organized. But in the meantime, if any of you guys out there want to help support the cause for multiple myeloma and cancer research in general, I'm going to link below my donation or my sponsor page, and feel free to donate absolutely anything that you possibly can. Every little bit helps, and I would so very much appreciate it. I know the difference between when my mom was diagnosed and my father was diagnosed was 8 years. I saw the difference in how my father was treated in terms of my mother, meaning the way testing was done, just so different in the way it was handled. And I'm pretty sure that research from then till now played a huge role in that. And I used to be very skeptical of donating towards charities, specifically fundraising for cancer research. And I still have my reservations about it in some ways that I can go into debates about with certain people, and I still feel certain ways, but at the same time I saw it from my own eyes. I saw the difference 8 years can make regarding one specific cancer, and we've all seen breast cancer come a tremendous amount of ways. So I decided this year that I'm going to donate, I'm going to walk, and I'm going to raise awareness for multiple myeloma specifically, as it has touched my family along with many other cancers, but this one hits home. So if you guys can and are willing to, please donate. Follow the link below like I mentioned, and I want to say thank you now before you even click that link, because it just means so much to me, and I'm sure it does to thousands of families affected by multiple myeloma. So I'm going to end off here because I have yet another doctor's appointment to attend with my father. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hearing me out. I do apologize, and I hope you now understand why I have completely dedicated to my channel. I do miss it. I do miss you guys. So please keep watching. Be patient, and I will be back as soon as life just takes a big, giant, deep breath. I promise. Excuse the horn. I live on a construction site. Anyway, guys, see you later. Thanks for watching. And Charlie wants to say bye-bye too. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye. He's like, well, who am I saying bye-bye to? Who? Give me a kiss. Rude. Rude.